Alright you guys, so we are here at the Battle of Resaca Reenactment, finishing up the second and final day of the reenactment. It's been a great one so far. Had a little bit of rain yesterday, but we fought through it and we finished the battle, and I bet it allowed the reenactors to kind of cool off a little bit instead of last year when it was blazing hot. And I'm here with my good friend Jason, and he'll give you a little bit more of what regiment he's in and what he looks forward to when he comes to these reenactments.
I'm Jason Sumner. I'm captain of the 31st Alabama, Company F, and our Union counterpart is the 20th Kentucky Company F. This weekend, as you can see, I'm dressed as an enlisted man. I brought a squad this weekend. We didn't have our full complement, so I got to tote a musket and have a little bit of fun on the field with the guys. It was a lot of fun yesterday, and today we'll be doing that as well. We're very much looking forward to it. So.
When did you get into reenacting?
So I got into reenacting in 2018. My first event was Fiddler's Green over in Jacksonville, Alabama. I'm on the faculty at Jack State. I'm also a teacher at a local high school in Calhoun County, Alabama, and I teach history. So I wanted to do this since I was a child. I grew up here in Northwest Georgia. I'm actually a Georgia native, even though I live in Alabama. And for me, I had always read on the Civil War, had interest in it. I grew up on Sherman's Park, Path of the Sea. I grew up right outside of Kennesaw, Marietta, and Ackworth, Georgia. That area, Capt County and Bartow County, where they come together. Okay. And Sherman went right through there. So Allatoona Pass was literally in my backyard. So I was fascinated with the Civil War, and having the opportunity to actually get out here, learn things that I never knew by living the history, gave me an opportunity to really be more impactful in my education of others on the subject, as well as how I'm teaching it, how I'm approaching my teaching on the matter. So, yeah, it's 2018. So
2018. Do you have any ancestors that fought in the Civil War?
I have two. The one that I am directly descended from and directly related to, his name is Thomas Anderson Kimbrell. He was in the 52nd Georgia, the Habersham Guards, Company A. He was wounded at Cumberland Gap in '62. He was at the Siege of Vicksburg. At Vicksburg, he was surrendered, paroled. He signed his repatriation forms, immediately left with his other compatriots, went to Chattanooga, Tennessee, and fell back in with the Army of Tennessee. At Missionary Ridge on the, I think it was the 23rd day of '63 November, he was captured by the Union forces on Missionary Ridge. When they overran the ridge, he was captured. He was taken to Cook Island, Illinois as a prisoner of war, and he died on January 16, 1865 of dysentery in Cook Island, Illinois, in the Confederate prison there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he was a prisoner of war. Seems to be a running tradition in my family. My grandfather fought in the Second World War, was also a prisoner of war. The Germans captured him in Sicily, but he survived. Had he not, I would not be here. So he started his family when he came home from the war, but he spent 2 years in Stalag 2B in Hammerstein, Poland. So,
oh, wow.
This is my mother's father. My mother's the youngest of his children. She was born in '61. She's a baby.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Yeah, it's weird to say that. I'm 38 years old, and I have a grandfather that fought in the Second World War. Most folks my age, their grandparents fought in Vietnam. Yeah. And now Persian Gulf, the Persian Gulf War. So, yeah. That's very interesting. My other ancestor is not directly related to me. He was a German gentleman, and I cannot remember his last name to save my life. I'm going to have to look it up for you. I don't know a lot about him. Yeah. I just recently discovered we were related, and the thing with him, he fought in the 31st Alabama. Okay. He's buried in Lineville, even though I cannot recall his name to save my life right now, but he married in to my family in Spartanburg, South Carolina. He married one of my ancestors on my mother's side.
Oh, wow.
And on my father's side, I am a descendant of Charles Sumner, the senator from Boston, Massachusetts, the one that was caned on the United States Senate floor by Preston Brooks. So I'm related to him as well.
So you got a long history.
Got a lot, yeah. A little bit of a mixed breed. Yeah. So.
So if you had to pick your favorite video from Adventures with Chris, because I know he travels with you guys. Mm-hmm. You see him all the time on the battlefields. Yeah. If you had to pick one video from his channel, which one would you say that is probably your favorite?
My favorite is Shiloh. Shiloh? The coverage you got at Shiloh, and the reason being is you were able to get a lot of what we did there, cover a lot of the action, especially the Hornet's Nest, where we tried to recreate the action there. And it gives a different perspective, especially for folks on YouTube who are watching the channel, who haven't had a chance to come to these events and kind of see what we're actually doing. You know, there's a stereotype about what we do in reenacting and why we come out here and do it. Oh, these guys are trying to capture some gloried past that never existed, or this lost cause. That's not what we do here. Most of us are historians, we're living historians, but a lot of us are educators. And I know I personally, in my company, there's a big emphasis on providing education. We go to schools, we do living history programs, we're teaching. That's why we're here. That's the motivation behind it. We're not here to recapture some gloried past. There's a lot of romanticism that goes on with the Civil War in today's society from people in the community and outside of the community. And there's nothing romantic or glorious about this conflict for men in either army.
Yeah.
It was terrible. The conditions in which they lived, disease kills more than actual wounds.
Yeah.
Sickness is rampant in the ranks of both armies. You're living in unclean conditions. They had very little food to eat when they could get it. Men were very poorly or illy supplied on campaign in the field most of the time. It was a difficult situation. It didn't matter if you were on the north or the southern side of the conflict, you went through absolute hell and misery in the field. As is in any war, the conditions are not very favorable to a high quality of life. And these men, they fought this war, each side for a particular reason, but it was a reason enough that compelled them to lay down their life in the service of that belief.
Yeah.
So despite the politics that goes on and the arguments and debates today, I always refer to the source material. I'm reading Sam R. Watkins and a number of others, Robert Sneed of the 5th New York. I'm reading these different first-hand accounts, the source material. You can't teach something if you've not studied the source.
Yeah.
There are a lot of historians that write on it. Where are they going to get their information? To the first-hand accounts.
Yeah.
And that's where we get our information, and that's what we try to share. So, having these big events like Shiloh, the 160th event, here at Resaca next year, the 160th, gives the public an idea and an opportunity to come out, actually walk these camps, talk to the living historians here, see what we're doing, why we're doing it. Well, why is his jacket not buttoned all the way out? Why is he wearing that way? Why is he wearing the uniform that he's wearing? They can ask those questions. If you're looking at a history book, they're not going to go into a lot of detail on that. Textbooks, especially in schools today, which we barely use textbooks, but if you find them, they don't have a lot of information on it. So by living this, we get to study it, and we get a different perspective because we're trying to recreate it. We're trying to live it so that we can teach it. So,
if you had to pick, no, you did. That was a great job.
No.
If you had to pick your favorite reenactment that you ever attended, which one would it be?
Oh, that's hard. My favorite so far has been Stones River. We put that on in October of 22 in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, or right outside of Murfreesboro, and that has been my favorite so far. It was a national event. I met guys from New York, some guys from Wisconsin. It was awesome. It's an excellent experience. Well, it's really hard to say. That's my favorite, what you would call a national event, where you got a lot of different classifications of living historians. You have some that are a little more hardcore than others. Some are what we call campaigners, some are mainstream. My company is a progressive mix of both. We have some guys that do the mainstream thing. We have others like myself that try to appeal more to the campaigner side of things, to be as realistic as possible in everything we do, from the quality of what we're wearing to how we sleep in the field, like sleeping on the ground under a fly. That's exactly how we lived this weekend, and that's what we do. That's what they did. But Fort Blakely down in South Alabama, right outside, it's on the mouth of the Mobile Bay. Fort Blakely is my other favorite one I've done. As terrible as the event in 21 was, it is a campaigner level event. We had this just hellacious storm come up at 3 o'clock in the morning on the field.
Oh, wow.
And it was terrifying. Treetops were breaking, it was hailing, rain coming down, thunder, lightning was hitting everywhere. It terrified me. It absolutely terrified me. We had nowhere to go. Our dog tent that we had washed over. So we're running for cover. The captain of our company had a fly set up, and we were holding the fly down. We were 6, 7 of us crammed under the thing trying to hold it down. More guys piling in. And we were miserable. But through that misery, we got a taste of what they would have went through on a normal basis. Because you think about it, these armies, they're in the field, they had no shelter to go to. They had nowhere to go.
Yeah.
So for us, that was a realistic experience, and it taught us a little bit of something. It made us think about something that these guys in the field and campaign would have went through on a normal basis. It was absolutely miserable. So I very much cherish that memory. So it's made my impression a little better. It's made my knowledge of this subject a little bit better because I got to experience a little bit of it. And in that environment, where everything from the food we eat to what we're carrying to what we're doing to how we function, it's a military campaign. We're doing what they did at that particular battle, the way they did it, the siege of the fort. It's the most realistic experience I've had, and it was awesome. So Fort Blakely is my top campaigner event that I've ever done, and then that's followed by Stones River in Murfreesboro. That's my second. So
The only thing I would have to say about Stones River, I wish it was a little bit closer. I was there as a spectator, and it was pretty hard to see.
Oh yeah, we were out in the field. That second day especially, the spectators we were looking, y'all were like a quarter of a mile away, and we were like, man, that's a ways off. I hope they've got some good cameras so they can zoom in a little bit, because we were out there.
Yeah.
So it was great though.
What is your next reenactment?
Gettysburg. We're attending the 160th Gettysburg up in, it's the one the Patriots of the Civil War Association are putting on in the end of June this year. 160th event. It's a national event. It's going to be awesome. I cannot wait. Gettysburg has been on my list of places to go, and I've only been to Gettysburg once, and I only had about 3 hours. So I hit the visitor center, and that was it. I only had time to go through the visitor center and check it out. I did get to walk over to the High Tide Mark and Meade's headquarters, and that was it. So I'm going to get to see the rest of the battlefield, places I'm not going to go, Peach Orchard, Culp's Hill, Little Round Top. Hopefully it'll be open by then. I don't know that it will. They're restoring it right now, so it might not be open to the public. If it's not, I'll have to go back up there at some point. But I'm going to see as much as I can. And then we have the event. Now the event's not actually being held at the park. It's on private property that these landowners, as most of our events are, have opened graciously their property and leased it out to us to use. I'm very much looking forward to it. Following it will be Chickamauga. So, I don't know if we'll have an event between Chickamauga and Gettysburg yet. We're going to adopt our schedule in June. We have our meeting coming up, so.
Are you looking forward to Chickamauga?
Oh yeah. Oh, very much looking forward to Chickamauga, and I'm hoping for a lot of additional participation. We've got some new guys falling in the company, so it's another national event. This will be the 160th anniversary of Chickamauga, so it's going to be a good one as well, right here in Northwest Georgia.
Yeah, and I think the people that did Shiloh or Stones River is doing Chickamauga.
It is the Atlanta campaign. They're a great
And
group.
I already talked to them. They said they're bringing the battle closer.
They have put on 19 events so far, and of those events, they did Perryville in Kentucky. That was the last one they put on. These events that they put on, they do an excellent job of setting up historically accurate scenarios and then coordinating and planning the entire event. So my company, we're extremely grateful to them, and we're honored to be able to go and participate and be a part of it. So we've got a lot of reenactors coming in from up north and elsewhere who are going to participate. Even a group from as far away as Texas is supposed to be coming. So I'm very excited about this. So it's going to be a great one.
So that's basically it right here for our interview. Stay tuned to the, go ahead and click on the video after this, and you can watch the second part of it. You can see Jason as a private and the rest of his guys out there. Most of the time he's a captain, but today he's changing his role today.
Got to be a filthy enlisted man, and I've enjoyed every minute of it.
So what unit are you guys going to be part of today? So everybody would be able to look
today
out
we're
for it.
falling in with the 48th Alabama. Remember, they're part of the Hardy Guard Battalion, the 31st Alabama. We're a member of the 1st Division, but sometimes we're associated members of the Hardy Guard Battalion. So this weekend we've got about 7 guys here. We've elected to fall in with the Hardy Guard Battalion, the 48th Alabama. They're a great group. We look up to them. Since I've been in the hobby, I've known guys in that group, and they're top notch. So we were honored to get to take the field with them yesterday, and today we're going to fall in with them as well. And it's nice not to have to give orders. It's nice to just get to carry a musket and shoot.
Kind of get a little dirty.
Yes. Oh yeah.
So
a nice break.
Yeah. Well, make sure you guys check them out on the battlefield. They're a great group. I love being around them. I was here with them last year at Resaca.
Oh, yeah.
Ended kind of bad, but I came back Sunday and I fought with them. So, and so I know what he's talking about with the struggles and how to live, because
hydration is key.
Yeah, hydration is key. Well, today is a lot better.
Thank the Lord above. I'll tell you what.
Yeah. But with that being said, you guys, I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe to the channel.